In this lesson, we're going to cover really all the major components. At the end of this lesson, you'll be able to really start writing your book right away. And we're going to cover many topics and how we're going to use ChatGPT in this. And then the rest of the course will build out on this too. But this is a critical lesson. In this lesson, we're going to talk about how to use ChatGPT, and I'm going to demonstrate for you how to use ChatGPT for things like coming up with ideas and topic generation and idea generation, researching for our book, if we need to do some research, outlining our book, writing different types of content. We'll actually write some of the content, a little bit of it, just to show you how it works with ChatGPT. Titles, and come up with excellent titles and subtitles, and description for our book that we can put if it's an ebook and we will need a description, or for the back cover of a book or something like that. We're going to do that as well, even an author bio as we wrap up this section too. So again, at the end of this section, you'll be able to start using stuff immediately that you can start applying right away, and then we build out from that throughout the rest of the course. Okay, I'm over at chat.openai.com. That's basically where ChatGPT is. We have upcoming lessons that are going to tell you all about how to create an account and free versions or pay versions, and how to use it and how the interface looks like. So don't worry, we're going to come up on that. Well, we do have things like a light mode here, so I could switch it to light mode, or I could go back into dark mode where I was at. Also, we'll talk about upgrading to Plus, which is the paid version of ChatGPT. Everything I'm showing you right here now is on the free version, and so you'll see how responsive and fast it is. You'll be amazed at that. But this is the free version of ChatGPT, and we have a lesson about, if you want to upgrade to the pay version and what that costs and what's all involved with that, and is it worth it to actually address that. So let's go dive in, and we're just going to start creating a book right now. And we're going to start with like topic ideas and research, then we're going to start writing outlines and content and everything. So you'll see everything, of the core parts of creating your book with ChatGPT right here in this lesson, so you can start using it right away. So first off, where all the magic happens is right down here. Right where you see this kind of prompt line here and the little submission arrow playing here, submission arrow, right here is where you type in your text, right? So your text is going to type in right there. And it's what you type in that then generates a response based on that text to give you what you're looking for, your needs, or your information, your content, your research, whatever it might be. So let's start broad with like getting ideas, and then we're going to go through research, and then we're actually going to write some of the contents and outline everything in our book. We're going to go step by step here. Let's pretend, so we're just going to pretend. So let's pretend that we're going to do a nonfiction book, all right? So later I've got lessons on writing children's books and fiction books, and we're going to cover all that too, and some lessons there. But let's say this will be a nonfiction book. And I know my area of expertise is like personal finance, investing, and that kind of stuff. So let's say I'm thinking, oh, I want to write a personal finance book. Many of you might be like, I know exactly what I want to write. But for many of you, it might be you're not sure, you want to get some ideas. Well, ChatGPT is great for idea generation. So I could ask it, like, if you want to be friendly, you could say, please, please give me some ideas for a book, and whatever you want it to be. Now, if you start too broad, you're going to get broad responses. If you get something more specific, you're going to get more specific responses. So let me demonstrate that for you. So if I say, just please give me some ideas for a book on personal finance, personal finance is a big category, right? So that's going to, I'll just hit the submission here, or I could hit the enter key, and you'll think for a second here, but look how fast it is. It's already coming back with stuff. It's almost giving me a little bit like title stuff, like the money mindset and money mastery to financial freedom. But this is all like, getting different ideas, frugal life. So it's about budgeting or whatever it might be, side hustles, whatever it might be. And you can see this kind of play out here. But you can see that's pretty broad, right? It's talking about debt. It's talking about side hustles. It's talking about financial freedom. It's talking about all sorts of things, in some of these early ideas. So I need to give it more specifics. Let's say my specialty is actually more investing. I might say, well, more specific to investing. And let's say specific to the stock market, right? So let's say, please give me topic ideas on stock market investing. And stock market investing, right? So we'll just do that. And like maybe different topics or subgenres within stock market investing, because you could start real broad, or you could get narrower in terms of your different genres or the different things that you're looking to do. And usually ChatGPT is a little faster than this, even in the free version, though this is pretty fast, right? So if you know the topic that you're talking about, you'll kind of have an idea of like what might be generating ideas, like, oh, do I want to talk about fundamental analysis? I'm sure for many of you are like, oh my gosh, that sounds boring, right? Oh, don't worry, you got technical analysis. That may be boring for many of you too, right? And so it's going to give me all these different things and a little description of it too. So it's like, oh yeah, technical analysis. That's the thing with the charts, right? Stock charts and trends and all that, or investing for beginners. So it's giving me some ideas, and I could be starting to think from this, oh, okay, well, maybe I want to do a beginner's thing, but maybe I want to do something that's, more than just beginners. Maybe I want to be more, more specific. We got stock picking strategies, whatever it is. So let's just stop generating here. You get the idea that's giving me ideas for topics. And let's say I'm interested in dividend investing. Dividends is a type of investing where if you own that stock, you get paid money just for owning the stock, right? So a subgenre, a niche, dividend investing. So, this I can get from getting these different topic ideas. Next, we can use it for research, right? We use ChatGPT for research, and we're talking about dividend investing in this example. So maybe I'm curious, like, I am going to write about dividend investing. What are some good websites for research? Or I'll just say some good websites. And I'm not the best typist in the world. You can probably tell that. And ChatGPT knows I'm not a good typist, right? It knows websites are spelled wrong. It's still going to give me the answers, right? See how now this came back a lot faster, right? And being that I know this topic, I know that, yeah, these are good sites, right? Seeking Alpha, Simply Safe Dividends. I know these, like NASDAQ, Morningstar. These are some good sites, right? But maybe that's not enough. I'd say, please give me 5 more. If that's not enough, ask it for more. It'll give you more, right? And so it'll give you 5 more websites or 10 more websites or whatever it might be in terms of your research that you want to do. So we've got some ideas for a topic. We're niching down into dividends in this particular example. And we've got some ideas of websites, right? So like Investopedia or whatever. Now maybe I'm interested in some other books that might be in that genre too. So, what are some top books on dividend investing? Because I might want to use that for my research too, and my own education on that. Certainly if I was going to take something from a book, I would want to cite that, just like any type of thing, as far as sourcing and attribution, all that, you guys know all that. But here, you'll start giving ideas of books around things like dividends. And ChatGPT is not perfect, by the way. It does make errors and stuff, so you want to double check stuff. Like this should all be books that have dividend in them, like Dividend Growth, Dividend Playbook, Dividends Still Don't Lie, whatever it might be. And it gives you a little description of the little book of big dividends, all that kind of stuff. If it was giving me back stuff like around growth stocks or different types of stocks or value stocks, that might not be what I was looking for. So you might need to be looking at your prompt or just, get more detailed on that. So now I've got an idea. I've got some good research resources I can start playing from or playing with. Now, for a lot of folks, what they'll do is they'll start asking for a title, right? They're like, oh, give me a title for my book. And maybe people like to have the title first and work from that. And that's okay. But I found with ChatGPT and how I like to kind of outline and get the book out of there and then go from a title, because then ChatGPT is going to even have more information to work out a better title. If I ask for a title now, it might not be what I'm looking for. So I like to start with an outline. So I can ask ChatGPT, give me, you don't have to say please, you don't have to be as nice as me, I guess. Give me an outline for this book. Let's see how it does. I didn't tell it was my dividend book. Well, how's it going to know which book I'm talking about, right? It's because I'm already in the chat. It's your personal assistant, right? It's your artificial intelligence assistant, your AI assistant. But you can see it should be coming back, and is, with things about dividend investing because we're inside this chat. Now, this isn't working right now. It happens with ChatGPT. Parts sometimes go up and down, so it's newer type technology. But it'll store your chats here on the left-hand side. So I can have this and I can go back to it, assuming the site isn't down on that part like it is today. But you can see here, it's creating me a nice outline. Introduction, fundamentals, importance, strategies, all sorts of stuff, building a diversified portfolio. So here I have a nice outline at a high level, right? I just asked it for a big, basic outline, at a high level outline, right? So, but I could have it redo it. Said, please redo with more detail, right? Because we're going to use that outline to build out our chapters and our sections and our subsections of our book. So the more detail we can get on this, the better. And then we're going to use this to do the content, right? So it's already answering this. Absolutely. Sure, I can do that for you. And here now it's building this out. Now think about your book. This is just the example, but think about your book. And, with let's say a fiction book, you might be building out, asking different things like an outline and what the story arc might be, right? You're talking about, boy finds girl, boy loses girl, boy gets girl back, that kind of stuff, or horror or whatever it might be your genre is. But in a fiction book, this really works in a nonfiction book, this works very, very well. So you see how it's really, getting more detail. Like, let's look at strategies here. It was like these 3 little bullet points, right? Just some 3 little bullet points in section 4 here. So we go back down to 4 here, we're getting a little bit more detail around that, right? So now we can copy and paste that, let's say, into Google Docs or Word or just on a notepad or whatever, in OneNote, somewhere, or put it right up into Kindle, Kindle Publishing, whatever you're looking to do. We're now building this out. So ChatGPT has really built out a big outline and really helped capture things. Like, it's easy to forget about dividend reinvestment plans, for example, DRIPs, which is a little bit more unique thing. So it's capturing all that, right? So then I can ask it to build on this. But let's say it's missing a chapter. Maybe it's something I'm not seeing something. There's stuff about fundamentals of dividend investing, but it's still pretty broad. And I could say, add a chapter on dividend ratios. Right, so I'm not seeing the ratios. I'm seeing it under fundamentals. This is a little inside baseball and investing, or inside stuff. But I want to have more around ratios, right? So I want to add a chapter on ratios, and let's see where it puts it. Maybe I put it right at the end here. Actually, all I wanted was that. Maybe I could have told it you don't need to redo all this, but it did, so it's nice in order, I guess. And it's building out this, this different stuff, and it should have a section on ratios. And then I'm looking for stuff on, more related to these ratios and things. How many chapters in my book here? I had 8. So let's see if we're almost done here. Yeah, I don't see ratios. Did they miss it? See, it's not perfect. It's not perfect. It should be in here in the fundamentals, right? So maybe it's right in here and all that too. Okay, so it's not perfect. This is the thing where this is where you know your topic and all that, right? So explanations are how they work, advantages and all that. So here's my outline. All right, so that's good. Now let's start writing, right? And we can write right from this outline just from scratch, or we can use ChatGPT to help unblock our, unblock our writer's block and just really get us started. So, I could just tell it to, like here, the introduction. I could tell ChatGPT, please write the content for section 1, it thinks it should know section 1 introduction. I'll make sure by putting an introduction. For section 1 introduction, please write the content for section 1 introduction with examples. All right, so sometimes it's good to have things like also give me examples or whatever. And I could tell who am I writing for, right? The content should be for a beginner dividend investor. This is where the more you put in, the better. So now we know it's for beginners. And I might want to even say, and we talk about style and tone later in the course too, but I might want to say, please, write in a friendly and fun tone. All right? Because I'm friendly and fun. I think I'm fun. Friendly and fun tone. And as opposed to academic tone, or I'm going to hit enter here, as opposed to an academic tone or a serious tone. If you're writing something that might be a serious subject, maybe you want to be a very serious or a very precise tone. So here, so this is now writing there. Hey, if you're reading this, hey there, if you're reading this, chances you're interested in dividends. Well, you're in the right place. Hey, good. So this is getting me a start, right? So this is the introduction, but first things first, let's start with the basics. Why would you want to invest in companies? And so this is already writing my content, right? I could be writing this, but it's already writing my content. Now, we want to use this, and we want to adapt this. We want to use this and create it and make it our own. We don't want to copy and paste from ChatGPT. I'm sure people will, but it's not going to be as good as if we wrote it ourselves. But this can kind of get us organized and thinking about, like saying but it's not just about income, and it talks about other things it does, like, oh yeah, I should mention that. I focus so much on income with dividends. I should talk about this. And here's the example, right? Give you an example, right? So then they have this example here. So here it's written a short little introduction, and I could do the same thing with every other subject, right? Fundamentals and all that, and building that out more, right? So I can just keep doing the same thing, building out, section by section is basically what you can do. Please do the same for section 2, right? And it'll do it, right? And so now I'm building this all out. I could put this again into something where I'm going to now manipulate this text in like a Word doc or a Google Doc and really start working with that, right? In this section we'll cover fundamentals and all that. And you can see that go. All right, so that's good. We've written our outline. We're starting to write chapters. We want to keep doing that and kind of build out all of our book. And you can always stop generating at any time and all that too. So let's say, dividend yield, right? So that's a specific type topic, right? So in dividend payout, well, this is good. These are dividend payout ratio is a real detailed thing. So I'm glad it's capturing that. I'd want to build that out. So for example, if this says dividend payout ratio, what's that? This is where you might want to build on that, right? You'd say, what is the dividend payout, or let's do yield. What is dividend yield? And give an example. Oops. All right, and you don't have to, we'll skip on this so you don't have to watch us doing it, but let's say it's coming up with something, I might know the topic, I might know about things like dividend yield, but it can help answer that for me right there. Let's say it's something I didn't know, I'll be like, oh yeah, that makes sense, and it's got a nice example here too, and then I can build that out. Maybe instead of, this gives me an idea for example, but maybe instead of XYZ company, I want to use a real company. All right, so this is how we're building out our content. And as we continue to build that content out, eventually it's going to be a whole book that we'll need to then edit. A couple last things in this to get you kind of started and really walk you through the whole process. One is, the next is a title, right? We need a title, right? So ChatGPT is great at coming up with titles, at least giving the bare bones of a title. Let's say, please give me 10 titles for this book. Again, it knows what I'm working with because I'm inside that chat. If I left the chat and started a new chat, and again, we're going to walk through the interface here in a moment in an upcoming lesson, it's going to start working stuff around that chat. I'm making a book on dividend investing. It's not going to give me stuff on how to get out of debt or something, how to exercise, whatever it might be. So here's 10 potential titles for the book, and building a reliable stream of income, passive income, dividends 101, dividend growth investor. And so I might like, I can go through, and if I like it, great. If not, I could say, just say, please, give me 5 more, or 10 more. How many more do you want, right? Or regenerate that content. And when it said regenerate, it'll redo it basically. Regenerate that content. So now it's giving me a difference. The dividend revolution, building wealth with dividends, dividend investing for busy people, low maintenance income stream. So maybe that's my niche, right? Maybe I'm looking at people are busy, they want to invest, they want something safe, they want that income, and they want it to be a real low maintenance income stream, right? So that's kind of my title. Maybe it's already got kind of a subtitle there, dividend investment for busy people, and that would be the subtitle. But I would want to say, please give me a subtitle for number 3. Or I could just copy and paste the whole thing of number 3 down there, because it might get confused that I'm thinking about dividend 101 when I'm really looking at dividend investing for busy people. And so here it is. It's getting that simple strategy to create low interest income stream, beginner's guide to dividend investing, right? So I could just, instead of having this part, I could have just dividend investing for busy people, and now I have maybe a little bit better subtitle, right? So that's all it is for making titles and subtitles, and you can keep expanding on that. Let's look at two last things real quick. A description of your book that you might have, let's say, in Amazon or in Kindle, where you're going to have a description of your book or your back cover, and it might say, please give me a short, a description of the book that I could use on KDP. Kindle Direct Publishing, right? Self-publishing on Kindle, right? So, and it'll basically kind of give you what you would want as far as, a potential book description from this, and then you'd want to build on that. Maybe you'd want to add some different bullet points, or maybe it says whether you're a complete beginner or an experienced investor, but you also have to watch for where it's pulling from something else, because then Intel, it says Dividend Investing 101 is the ultimate guide. Well, that's not right. We decided we wanted this one, right? Simple. We wanted dividend investing for busy people, so it got that wrong, right? So that's why we have to double check everything. And I could say, please redo the description for dividend investing for busy people. I could put that in a quote or whatever to make it stand out. ChatGPT is actually very good at recognizing what I'm looking for. I'm just hitting enter here. And now it should redo that. And instead of saying dividend investing 101, it should say dividend investing for busy people. Because it's still using the same outline and everything I had, this part might be very similar, or it might be a little bit different too. It'll give you some different options, right? But with this here, it's what are dividends, how to evaluate dividends. And see, now it's rewriting it to give a little bit different options, or maybe it's a little bit more interested for the busy people. You'll learn how to make money without sacrificing your valuable time. You catch this here, without sacrificing your valuable time. See how that ties together better than Dividend 101 and Achieving Financial Independence. All right, so I got a title, subtitle, and my description. And one thing that's really hard for folks, it's for me, author bios. You find that hard sometimes? You're like, I need to tell stuff, but I don't want to be a braggart or whatever. So ChatGPT can help do that for you, help you write your bio and write a good bio. So I could say, please create a bio. And this is where you want to be, of course, truthful. You don't want to say that you were the captain of the swim team when you never was on the swim team. But please create a bio for me, it doesn't know who I am, I don't think. I'll say Steve Ballinger. And I could put in there, and you just put in some things that about you, right? Top Udemy instructor, on investing, with over, what am I up to now? I think I'm up to 477,000 students, by the way. Thank you for enrolling in the course and my other courses. I really appreciate that. So thank you for being a student. 477,000 students, and focusing on investing in stocks, crypto, Forex, which is foreign exchange, personal finance. You just list out your different stuff here. ChatGPT and management, and also management. I teach some management courses and time management courses too. I teach a variety of stuff. Okay, and so I'm giving it some data, some information, finance, and maybe I want to add a little personal thing in there too. I love to travel with my family, wife Helen, and son Patrick, to areas such as Scandinavia. I've been to Scandinavia, and I'm going to Egypt here, upcoming. So that's kind of cool. Egypt, Jordan, and the Middle East. So I'm really looking forward to that. That's coming up here shortly. So let's say that's my bio, right? Now, what ChatGPT will do is it'll take that data I gave it and actually write a nice bio, right? So then you can kind of be a little bit, hands off on it, where it's like you don't have to be like, how do I phrase this without being strange or whatever? And it's basically going to take some of my stuff, right? I kind of wrote it, I guess, too. And that's it, and then you have to check it, right? Am I an expert in the field? Yeah. Am I passionate about helping others learn? I didn't even put that in there, but that's actually true. I'm very passionate about helping others learn. I imagine investing wisely. So you can start to adjust this. Avid traveler, new destinations, wife Helen, son Patrick, and all over the world, from Scandinavia to Egypt, and then with a wealth of experience, description, So you can kind of read this, but you can see how it's putting together a nice bio that I can then build upon or adjust. And that's really the key thing with ChatGPT, is it's going to help be your personal assistant. It's going to be your writing assistant, and then you're going to adjust and edit based from that, right? I'm not going to just copy and paste this, though it's pretty good. See, it was pretty good, but maybe I want to build on that more. Maybe it's less personal finance and more investing, get that, be more specific, that kind of stuff. Or talking about myself becoming financially independent at a young age. I could talk about that. So there you go. So the rest of the course, we're going to keep building and expanding on this. But right now, I want to give you right away stuff you could use right away, and you can just start diving in right now. And the rest of the stuff is going to really help fill in some of the gaps and get into things like children's books or fiction books, promoting all sorts of different stuff. We're going to fill in that a little bit more and using ChatGPT, but you can see how easy it is to use, how fast it is to use, and how you can use it step by step to build your book and get it all created and help you, achieve, if it's your first book, maybe achieve a dream there, or help you create more books more effectively and quickly. So with that, let's keep going on the course.